a bit differently. We will see the Sage come out. We have not seen Sage in the previous game, so Orgless shaping this one up will have that healing and some of that slowing ability on their side, but Aftermath gaining that mid control as soon as the game starts with a great first kill. Orgless now with a great opening sign from them. Custom abilities taken out by AJ before trading one out himself. AJ finding a second kill. Ivo healing himself up with his abilities, and Lazarus now in a 2-on-4. Orgless, a very good position from them. Lazarus do have control over towards the A site, but they do not have the spikes, so they are not able to plant that one and send this to a post-plant position. Instead, we will be continuing on. Seth not able to find that kill. Will Zeki able to find AJ, but Jackson finding that trade instead. And Orgless will take the first round on defense. Lazarus perhaps not ready for that aggression, and Orgless really showing up early into this game, and hopefully they will not have the same issues that they had in the previous game with a bit of indecision and over-aggression on defense. But hopefully they've learned from their mistakes. A lot of that first game was decided on their indecision on attack. They gave up so many rounds in a row in the beginning by just playing contact plays instead of relying on their fragging ability that they have on their players and pushing this team to the limit. Lazarus were only barely able to take that map away from Orgless, and Lazarus now on their map pick, down one round. Not the end of the world, but Zachary taking those kills as well. Jackson finding two, Zachary finding two, and Jackson finding a third with that shotgun will shut this one down, and Lazarus not able to win that second bonus round for them. They will now have the full weapon buy-up, all 5 members able to afford either Phantoms or Vandals. But Orgless will be investing quite a bit into this next round. Zachary did fall in the previous round. Sorry, did get quite a few kills in the previous round. Will be able to buy up a Phantom, and Ivo now with the operator in his hands, usually in the hands of AJ, but will do quite some good work with that. Will Zeki able to find the kill onto AJ before being traded out by the shotgun of Jackson. Close range with that shotgun might mean that that weapon is picked up for him, and a great upgrade for him. So he is no longer able to play those surprise angles with the shotgun. Ivo in a very elevated position will miss the first shot, giving away his location. Does fall back, but the wall is still up for him to deny that push quite a bit longer. Sage used to be either a permaban or perma-pick operator due to her ubiquitous play in competitive regions, as well as just the sheer power of her slows and balls. So that was nerfed in the previous patches of the game. Seth is able to find the kill onto Ivo, but Aftermath trading that one out. And Lazarus now 3 rounds down. Orgless this time winning the bonus round, despite being at quite the disadvantage on weaponry, and Lazarus in now a very tricky position. Some cheeky tripwire positions coming out for Cypher. And Jackson will be leading up the scoreboard. 5 kills and 1 assist, only 4 deaths in total for the side of Orgless in this game so far. Shows you how well they've been finding these gunfights. And strategy only matters to a point. Lazarus, with that team play, that extended amounts of utility, will only be able to do so much before Orgless just clicks on heads. And they have been showing their prowess so far. Lazarus sneaking up towards this mid area, but Orgless just with the superior weaponry able to find those trade kills. And Aftermath, despite Ivo losing that first battle, is able to trade one back. Zachary finding 2, but Seth trading one back with the headshot is able to find the operator, and now into a 1-on-2. Lazarus with just pistols, able to trade those ones out, able to find some great close range fights, and Orgless possibly leaving this a bit too close. with those operators not going to full usage. Seth is just caught out as AJ able to find his head through the floor, but that is a very close round. Despite Lazarus being on absolutely no weaponry and able to keep that economy a bit closer, forcing the defenders to rebuy up at least one of those operators. But still very good position for them. AJ and Ivo both ahead of $4,000 in addition to Aftermath. So they do have at least 1 to 2 more rounds in the bag if Lazarus is able to win these rounds. Zachary, burning the ultimate early into this round to get some map control, is able to find a bit of damage onto Lazarus, but that is not enough, as Lazarus is able to take out that clone. Orgless, with a good amount of map control, is looking to play this one quite slowly. Lazarus, now the onus is on them to make those attacking moves. Cypher very comfortable on towards this A site, still a tripwire in hand for him to place down. And they will wait instead for that execute, just a minute left on the clock. That Boombot finding a bit of information, making sure that there's no one lurking in that smoke, and Blackheart GMG able to find the initial kill for the first time in this game, and Lazarus is able to get the spike down on towards this A site. Custom abilities is finding AJ out, and Tanaka will best him with that operator. Seth finds a kill with the paint shells onto Zachary, and it is just left to the Sage and Omen of Orgless. Not much room for them, as Lazarus finds a good execute into this game. Ivo holding on to his operator, as Lazarus keeps 5 alive with the spike down. Just a bit of utility usage to make sure no one goes for that ninja defuse, and Orgless will give up their first round of the game so far. Great things to see from Lazarus, keeping this game competitive, not letting Orgless put too many rounds in their way. 4 is still a very good buffer, but not too big to overcome, as we saw from Orgless in the previous game, able to come back from 5 down to win the half. Lazarus obviously able to take that win, but just shows you how closely matched these teams are and how important momentum is for these teams. They're able to string rounds in a row very well. Lazarus might be able to do so in this round as well. Orgless flashing out for that initial fight, but Lazarus utilizing their utility, dropping more players in, putting down that aftershock to clear out that right-hand mid position, will give them control of this mid area, and Orgless now stuck in between these two sites, possibly able to cut off that rotation from spawn, as Blackheart able to take one angle off. Seth finding a kill onto Zachary, and that cheeky tripwire not able to do all that much. Will Zeki able to find a kill onto AJ, and it is just left onto Jackson on towards this A site, holding down the Alamo, but will be shot through the wall. That is one of the wall bangable boxes. And the doors will be closed on towards this A site, and Lazarus once again keeping 5 men alive on towards this side, and Orgless once again left with just their Omen and Ivo on the Sage on towards this B site to save their weaponry. This is manageable for the next few rounds, as they do have quite a round buffer. However, Lazarus, keeping all 5 members alive once again, will be able to build up their economy, possibly even hitting money cap right now, with them not having to buy up any weapons in the previous round and getting the spike down for that extra bit of bonus cash. Instead, they will be able to build these round buffers up, making sure that they get enough kills to build up those ultimates. And Orgless only with 2, Lazarus with 2 as well. But both Blackheart and Tanaka 1 ult orb away from their ultimates. And their poorest player, with a mere 5,700 credits in the bank, will be able to buy up for the next at least 2 rounds in a row if they lose. So Lazarus in a very good position to keep this one fighting. Now a 5-man execute over towards this B site, changing this one up, not setting themselves into complacency. The ultimate coming out from Will Zeki is able to shut them down, and now Lazarus 5 strong once again, post-plant position, this time on the B site. Zachary finds a contact play on towards Seth, in towards this B entry site, but Tanaka finding the kill with the electric arrow. Not that often that you find those finishing people off. And Orgless now once again in a 2-on-5 retake scenario, this time with a bit more damage on towards the players of Lazarus. However, they are once again left out to dry. AJ holding on to one of the 2 operators, in Orgless forced to give up another round. Lazarus committing for these pushes, not playing contact plays anymore, instead committing 5-man on towards these sites, and are able to find distinct advantages, able to find those kills, and Orgless does not have an answer for that. 3 rounds in a row for Lazarus, as they once again have a flawless round. Zachary was a bit closer to making that not a flawless round. He got Seth down into the red bars of health, so that I believe is less than 40 points of health for him. But Ivo taken out early into the round does mean that that slowing ability, those walls, that healing, and especially that revive not able to come out for them. And Lazarus just able to capitalize on that in this round. Aftermath finally getting themselves a man advantage. Zachary able to find 2, but Seth finds 2 with the boom bot. Tanaka trading one back onto Zachary, and all of a sudden it is now into a 2-on-2 for Lazarus. Orgless finding so many kills early into that round, but now Lazarus are in the driver's seat at 2-on-2, splitting the defenders out between both sites. Sova doing recon with his Owl drone will put themselves into a very tough position. I believe both players on Orgless have the operators. Ivo has commonly played the double op setup as the secondary opper. Jet, obviously very good at utilizing that heavy weaponry. But Tanaka will look to trade this one out for Vandal, favoring that close quarter combat. We'll be able to trade these frags out much better. Will Zeki pushing up towards this mid to CT positioning, and might be able to catch out AJ on a rotate. Orgless in a very tough position. This is going to be a 1-on-2 no matter where Lazarus does decide to execute. AJ does have the possibility for a one-and-done position, able to find one onto Will Zeki, and drops back behind the stained glass. Does not give Tanaka the opportunity to trade frag this one out. However, switching on to the Vandal does make this one a very doable prospect. Lazarus finding 3 kills and the spike, a very good round for them nonetheless.
Get out of my way.
But with the opportunity to find this win, he is found out by AJ, and the ultimate, finding all of those shurikens into him, will spell the end of the win streak for Lazarus. Orgless finding their 5th round on the board, but very close at that. 2 members remaining, and ultimate utilized by Jet for the clutch. And Orgless still on a very precarious economic position. Some members, such as Zachary, on just 300 points, 300 credits remaining. However, AJ on nearly 8,000 credits, able to keep himself alive for so many of these rounds, able to save despite losing, and that loss bonus able to buffer up their economy. However, Lazarus keeping all of those previous rounds as flawless means that they're able to buy up once again with still quite a bit of money in the bag. Lazarus now looking for a strong A-site execute, not looking for those disastrous mid-plays. Instead, looking for an A-site execute. And it looks like Orgless has learned from that quite a bit as they are investing more of that utility to stopping those site pushes. Cypher now using one of their tripwires on towards this area. The Boombot able to clear out that close angle, and Seth finding a kill onto Jackson. AJ trading one back onto Blackheart in towards that middle area, but Orgless now into a 3-on-4 as Lazarus has control of site. AJ trying to find some heroics with that operator, but Seth keeping a close eye on him, as will Zeki able to find one of those lurking players in towards that area. Ivo now trying to push up as well. Will be met by Seth. He is able to win that fight, but Tanaka on the other side of the map finds a kill onto Zachary and is just left onto a 1-on-3. Ivo does have the resurrection available, but he is not looking at winning this round. Instead, just looking to find some remaining picks. Recovers that operator to keep that economic advantage in Lazarus. Despite not keeping all 5 members alive as they have in their previous round wins, is able to keep this one quite close, a 4th round on the board for them and one closer to tying this one up. They have not been able to take the lead in terms of rounds since the beginning of the game. However, they are one step closer and are looking quite convincing in these rounds. Orgless were able to find quite a few kills in these previous 2 rounds, winning that round 2 rounds ago after some back and forth trade frags through mid, but Lazarus looking more complete as a team. They're able to play these rounds much more methodically instead of relying on the chaos of combat to showcase their aiming ability. They're able to slow this one down and have these site executes that leave Orgless absolutely bewildered. Lazarus, though, taken out by the aggression by Orgless, not watching the smoke. Smokes are not walls, and you have to watch them. Orgless exploiting that lack of attention by Lazarus to take 2 kills over towards the side area. And now Lazarus in a 3-on-5. No Sage to pick those people up. Will be in a very tough position. Tanaka still with the operator looking on towards this B site. Will swing wide, but Aftermath finds 2 kills. This is his 3rd kill of the round, and will find 4 for the quad kill. A great shutdown from him, and Orgless finding their stride once again. Early aggression, but not overstepping their bounds. Orgless with Aftermath and Ivo holding over that B site, able to find those great early 2 kills, building up that man advantage, forcing Lazarus in towards mid, and then Aftermath swinging wide once again to pick up those 3 remaining kills. Getting himself on the board quite well. Custom abilities, we saw him incredibly high on the leaderboard last game, just not able to do anything in this round. Just 2 kills for him. Seth has been top fragging in both of these games. We will look to see him as a beacon of hope for them here. Ivo finding 2 kills onto the slowed players, finding a 3rd onto custom abilities, and that is the power of the Sage. That slowing ability just allows him to swing onto those players. Tanaka finally able to shut him down, but Wilzeki is taken out in the meantime, and Lazarus now into a 1-on-3. Tanaka, a very capable player, but I would not bet on him to win these rounds. Tanaka finds a first, but Jackson able to swing out, finding the head of him, and will put themselves into a 7th round, a commanding lead for Orgless, considering how well Lazarus has played. Lazarus, this being their map pick, Orgless will be able to make quite a statement with a 7-4 scoreline so far. This is not bad for either team. This is very winnable for both sides, as the map is still quite new in competitive play and will be felt out by both of these teams.
This goes here, that goes there.
We will see this final round of the half, all players buying out. Seth taking a bit of damage through the smoke. Blackheart GMG finding a kill. Custom abilities, trading that one out onto AJ. And finally, Lazarus bucking the trend of those frags going over towards the side of Orgless, finally coming out on top. Now a 1-on-2 trade. Tanaka ready for that aggression. Ivo punished for overstepping. And this is looking like a very doable round for Orgless. Just Jackson left into a 1-on-3. Lazarus playing very patiently, checking their corners, making sure that they are not leaving any inch for Jackson to play up for. And Wozeki should be there for Jackson, and Jackson just not watching that angle. Everyone burning their ultimates as this is the last round of the half. And now we go for the switch. Orgless now on attack. We will have to see how they perform. Initially on Haven, they like to play a lot of contact, and that did not work out for them. They lost 5 rounds in a row, and they had to change it up. However, later into the half, they played very aggressively. They committed on towards one site, and that allowed them to find 7 rounds in a row. Now, with 7-5 in their favor on the attacking side, with a more aggressive team, you would have to think that this is exactly where they want to be, and this is looking very good for them. Or Lazarus has not had much of an answer for that fragging capability of Orgless. And Orgless, once again, pushing all 5 members towards one site. It looks like they've learned from their issues in the previous games. Ivo boosting those members up to look for a shot on towards that B site. Not finding anything. His custom abilities finds the first kill of this half. Trading one back. Showing up on the board once again. Wozeki trading one again onto AJ. I don't know why I'm saying trading, as Lazarus are the only ones finding kills so far in this round. Jackson is able to get onto site. Aftermath finds custom abilities. Blackheart trading one back on towards their Omen, and just like that, Lazarus is able to stop them from getting the spike down. A very great play from them, forcing Orgless to push through tons and tons of utility and not allowing those jet mobility or that Phoenix flashing ability to really catch them off guard. Sage is very powerful on defense, not the best on offense. Her slows are arguably one of the best abilities in the game. They offer unprecedented map control. They spread out much larger than, I believe, any other area of effectability in the game, as well as pretty much single-handedly halting a push, as we saw earlier in the first half, with Ivo finding a triple kill through the smoke. Tanaka dropping the door down, will not be able to save him as Jackson finds his head, pops it off, and AJ finding another kill onto custom abilities. That is the A site in control for Orgless. So Lazarus with the upgraded weaponry will be able to trade one back. AJ, despite being full blinded, is able to take the kill onto Seth, and Lazarus now with just a 2-on-4 remaining will be in a very tough position. Lazarus still have the upgraded weapons, is able to find another kill. Blackheart GMG able to find 2, but traded out by Jackson with that headshot once again. Wozeki with just the ghost in hand and just 49 points of health. A very tough ask for him, but still very doable. Is able to find the spot out through the smoke, but AJ finding his head for the 3rd kill of the round, and will give themselves that 2nd round win. Lazarus, despite winning the pistol round and having the better weaponry, taken out by Orgless. Orgless, that confident in their fragging capabilities, will be able to take that round. And a very tough lost round to stomach for Lazarus. That was their ability to keep this one level at 7-7. Instead, Orgless now with a 2-round buffer between their opponents and with the weapon advantage. Lazarus buying up upgraded pistols, enough money in the bank to keep this advantageous for the 2nd round. Blackheart GMG does open this up with an early kill on towards Orgless, in map control handily in the sides of Lazarus. All of those players pushing over towards the A site, and despite Orgless getting control of site, Tanaka is already on the flank. They do know that, as he has tripped one of the tripwires, but Seth not caring at all as they push on towards site. Zachary and Jackson, the two remaining players on alive. Jackson does find 2 kills, and it is now on to a 2-on-2. Lazarus, still with very poor weaponry, have played extremely well for themselves. Those boxes, while bangable, could be able to be shot through. Blackheart GMG finds a kill onto Zachary, but Jackson able to shut him down. A 4th kill in the round for Jackson. But way too close considering the weaponry that Lazarus had. I guess this map is very good for upset rounds, as Lazarus lost that previous round to Orgless, who were just on pistols. Yeah, that's a bit of an issue with the scoreboard.
Oh, this is a nice spot. No more charges left.
Yeah. So a bit of an issue here. Orgless is not, in fact, down 6. They are up 9-6. Lazarus is on the defending side this time. Tanaka does have the operator for the first time on this half. Custom abilities holding it down with a Phantom. Will be looking over towards his mid aggression, shutting down a push from Aftermath, but he is able to find custom abilities. Aftermath is taken out by Blackheart GMG, but that is the first kill over towards Orgless. Sorry, over towards Lazarus. No, Orgless. These titles are confusing. Sorry. That is the first kill over towards Orgless. However, Lazarus trading this one back very close. And Orgless now with just 50 seconds on the clock for this execute. Will be in a very tough position. Lazarus, however, leaving the B site in just the hands of Wilczeki. He is tucking himself away in a very good position. However, the rotations are very far away. And that flash coming out for Orgless. They do not cover his ankle, and Zachary is able to take him out, but only after 2 member goes down. That is typically a one-and-done position, but Orgless just not checking that position out. Zachary now very low on health. AJ with the operator is the saving grace. Zachary does pop his ultimate, will regenerate on 100 points of health, shutting Tanaka down, but AJ trading one out. Seth now left in a one-on-one. No better player on Lazarus that you would like to see in this position. This is very good for him. He's playing a bit of ring around the rosy with Zachary. However, Zachary able to find the kill, and Orgless putting themselves onto double digits. There we go. Sorry, still about the issue with the scoreboard. Lazarus is up 1-0. However, they are on defense right now. So Orgless with an opportunity to push this to a 3rd decider map. That decider map will be on bind. And Orgless now with a full buy up once. Sorry, with a force buy up once again, having lost the previous rounds. Lazarus should be able to widen this one up and get themselves very close to victory. However, custom abilities, utilizing that sheriff, finding the head, does not matter how good your strategy is if you can click heads, and Lazarus able to click heads, find themselves into a 2-on-3. Lazarus, a tough ask in a 2-on-3 retake scenario. Orgless does get the spike down. And Aftermath shutting down those 2 remaining pistol players. And an 11th round on the board for Orgless, nearly doubling the score of their opponents and very close to sending this one to a 3rd map. Orgless so very close to winning the map pick of Lazarus, a very needed map to win, as they will be sent home if they lose this game. if they lose this map. Lazarus, on their map pick, we're able to take away Orgless's map pick.
Repel
Do
them.
have a bit of a buffer. They will be able to lose this round, lose this map, and go to the third deciding map of Bind. However, they want to end this series right here, right now. Tanaka doing his best to shut this one down. The Ghost of Omen shut down before he can make his teleport, and Lazarus finding another kill. Ivo being rezzing up AJ, utilizing that ultimate, I believe for the first time in this match so far. Aftermath with a bit of a greedy push through the smoke will be taken down, and Orgless once again on the man advantage. Now 2 ultimates down for the side of Orgless as Lazarus put themselves into a very advantageous position. Zachary over towards this B site looks to lure away some of those defending rotations, and he will look to do just that as the remaining players rotate away from this A side. But they recognize their mistake before the spike goes down, and they're able to rotate both players back over towards the A site. However, 3 members of Orgless are already on this A site, and Jackson, with the spike on towards the A site, is able to get the spike down. A lot of damage done with that combination of utility. Jackson able to get the spike down, however, is taken out by the aftershock of the breach. And Orgless now with a 2-on-5 retake scenario. Will Zeki finding AJ and is just left onto Ivo, who's taken out by Seth. Orgless taken out despite getting a very good spike plant down. Lazarus, very smart, very patient, able to get those rotations, not being baited away by Aftermath, and waiting to get the extra ult orb onto that remaining player that needs it the most. Great stuff to see from them. And there we go. Lazarus, a must-win round. They do have the opportunity to push it into overtime if Orgless gets another round. However, they would like to win this in conventional time, or at least have as much of a buffer as they can. And they will look to do just that. Seth finding some information over towards his A side with the boom bot, as that little Roomba, not exactly the best for finding kills or that much damage, but it is very good at finding information, especially through those smokes. Well, Zeki, now with the operator in his hands, is able to find one. Zachary spams him down through the wall, but Blackheart GMG able to slow down some of that push over towards this mid area, utilizing both of those flashbangs. And now with a crossfire, we'll be able to shut down that mid area. Tanaka goes for a very aggressive peek with the operator, but shuts down Zachary. And now Orgless now in a 3-on-4 position. Lazarus with very good information as to the whereabouts of those enemy players. But now no players on towards this B site, just Breach holding that mid to B area will allow Orgless quite a foothold on towards this side. And Lazarus, perhaps a lapse in judgment as Orgless are able to storm on towards the site. A great fault line from the Breach is able to stun 3 of those players up. And Sova able to slow them down and find a single connecting shot on towards Jackson. AJ, though, doing his best to keep his team in his favor, shuts down 2 now with that operator. He is keeping his team alive. That pocket rocket does go wide. The wall does go down. And smokes do go up. AJ finding a 3rd kill into the round and is just left onto Seth now. He does have a decent position, but is taken out by Ivo. And Orgless do put themselves onto a map point. Lazarus now in a very difficult position. 5 rounds in a row if they want to bring this one to overtime. They are capable of it. They're certainly capable of it. However, Orgless have just been playing out of their minds. AJ has been playing incredibly. He's top fragged, I believe, both of the last games. and he is setting himself up as one of the premier operators of this tournament so far. He's been doing absolute work both on Haven, now on Ascent. Hopefully we will be able to see him on Bind. Sorry about that. I need a bit of water. But Lazarus now backing themselves off. They do have extremely good control over towards mid. And that paint shell is able to slow down that push just a bit. Lazarus, though, have full control of the map. Aftermath finds a kill onto Seth. AJ, though, taken out early into this round by Seth. Lazarus with map control, swing wide. Zeki finds a kill onto Zachary, and it is just left on to the three members of Orgless to clutch this possibly last round out. Zeki and Blackheart GMG find 2 kills. Aftermath trade ones back and finds a 3rd kill into this round. Custom Abilities finds the final kill and is able to get that defuse out. Orgless, a great execute, but failing to gain map control. Lazarus slowly pushing through B, through mid, were able to find out that it was absolutely not a B take, not a mid take, and back their players off from A. Seth was able to find a kill before being traded out, but more importantly, they were able to get those players into flanking positions so early into that round that by the time Orgless were able to get the spike planted, Lazarus had a 4-prong retake underway. And despite the heroics from Aftermath finding a triple kill in that round, Lazarus were able to clutch that one out and keep the dream alive. Orgless now, after winning so many rounds in a row, are able to keep this buy up, but Blackheart just not checked out, and he is able to find 4 kills in a row. That I didn't even have time. He just, yeah, Orgless, not checking their corners, and Blackheart making sure to remind them. Lazarus there to punish them when they make a mistake, and now we have a new leaderboard for Lazarus. Blackheart GMG stepping up. Breach, not exactly the most frag-heavy operator. His abilities do take quite a bit of time after they are used for him to pull his gun out, so he's not typically the one to capitalize on the fault line. He's utilizing his team play ability, but great stuff from him, stepping up for the team and finding those kills. Aftermath, though, trading one over for Orgless, finding the initial kill. Blackheart GMG slowed off and mollied off, but Tanaka shutting down AJ, top fragger of Orgless, and Blackheart GMG keeping the pressure up, finding ahead of Aftermath, now into a 4-on-3. Orgless, though, just have to hold on for the next 30 seconds, and they have the map win. Lazarus, though, with the man advantage and the ultimate advantage, finding the crowd control ability. Blackheart GMG capitalizing that, finding the kill onto Zachary, and is just left onto Jackson, and now just left onto Ivo. Ivo finds the headshot, but is taken out by Seth, and now Lazarus are able to find the defuse. Orgless so very close in every single round to finding these wins, except for the last round. But Lazarus trading these ones out, staying patient, allowing them to get the spike down, but putting themselves into beneficial positions after the spike goes down to find these retakes, and this is another incredibly close game. Both teams on double digits. Lazarus just 2 rounds away from sending this to overtime. Orgless, we will have to see a bit of this snapshot of their money. Lazarus, it really doesn't matter how much money you got. If you lose a round, you're done. Orgless, though,
Get out of my way.
might not be in a great position. We do hear that sound cue, and that will be Jet popping her ultimate. Only $1,200 in the bank, and Jet's light armor. Tanaka finding 2 kills already. That is the power of the Vandal against that light armor, finding 2 kills. Blackheart GMG finding a 3rd, and that is already pretty much the round in the bag. Spike down in the control of Lazarus, and with the superior weapons, this could be a very close series indeed. Blackheart GMG pushing out that close area, but Zachary fighting the head with a Marshall, absolutely clicking on heads. Beautiful shot from him, needing to hit that headshot, otherwise he's absolutely a dead man. That C4 dealing damage to him through the smoke, but Seth finding the kill with that Vandal. Seth and Wolzeki combine for the last 2 kills of the game, and Lazarus, despite losing one, finds the rest of the kills in a very handled fashion, and Orgless now in a do-or-die situation. Well, not really. Lazarus in a very do-or-die situation, 1 round away from overtime. Aftermath and the rest of Orgless, as you can see on the screen, are able to buy up. You can't see the full scoreboards, but Aftermath with 1,500 credits in the bank is able to comfortably buy a rifle as well as the full armor. However, it will be a question whether AJ is able to get his operator. We've seen him put in work, especially on attack with that aggressive operator play. And now with them being on attack, they might not go for that. Interesting to see them go for the Vandals on defense and the Phantoms on attack. Typically, you see them in the other way. Lazarus, though, going down a man early, and Orgless putting themselves very close towards a map win and sending this to a 3rd map of Bind. They do have 3 ultimates to the just 1 of Lazarus, and Ivo shutting down that ultimate ready. Remember, Aftermath utilizing that ultimate, putting himself into a flank position, finding Tanaka, and this does look like it is going to be a very close 13-11 win for Orgless. Lazarus, though, Blackheart playing his absolute heart out, trading this one back and pushing through the cyber cages in a 2-on-4 retake. It is looking very difficult for him. Now a 1-on-4 for him. AJ, we do answer that question. He does have enough money, and he is able to buy up that operator. And Zachary trading one out. And that is Blackheart going down. Lazarus, a very valiant effort on that comeback, but Orgless stopped them just shy of the goal. And that we are now 1-on-1, 1-to-1 in terms of score. Blackheart, TMG, and Seth leading the leaderboard in score, but just every single member of Orgless staying consistent in their fragging capability.